Open the door! The woman banged her fists against the large wooden gate. Her clothes were covered in dust. Her hands were shaking. My husband, please! This is my home too. From inside the compound came a voice she never expected to hear. You don't belong here anymore. The gate slowly opened. Her husband stepped out, holding another woman's hand. Then he threw her small bag onto the ground. It is my house now, he said with a cruel smile. You have nothing. The woman stared at the house she had spent 10 years building with her own sweat. She had carried every stone, mixed every bag of cement, worked every single day without rest. Now, she was being chased away like a stranger. But hidden inside an old wooden box was one forgotten piece of paper, a secret that would destroy every lie her husband had built. In the quiet village of Umuaka lived a hard-working woman named Amara. She married a young man who dreamed of building the biggest house in the village. We may be poor today, but one day people will admire our home. Amara believed him. Every morning before sunrise, she woke up to fetch water from the river. She farmed under the hot sun. She sold vegetables in the market. At night, while others slept, she wove baskets to earn extra money. She gave every coin she made to her husband. Slowly, their dream began to take shape. They bought land. They made thousands of mud blocks with their own hands. Amara carried heavy loads until her shoulders ached. Sometimes her hands bled from mixing cement. The villagers often shook their heads. I have never seen a woman work this hard. Years passed. At last, the beautiful house was finished. It became the finest house in the village. People came from nearby villages just to admire it. Amara smiled with pride. Our suffering is finally over. But success has a way of changing some people. Soon, her husband started spending more time in town. He bought expensive clothes. He returned home late every night. Whenever Amara asked where he had been, he became angry. Stop asking questions. One afternoon, a neighbor quietly pulled Amara aside. I saw your husband with another woman. Amara laughed nervously. My husband would never do that. But deep inside, fear began to grow. A few weeks later, her husband stopped sleeping in their room. Then one morning, a young woman moved into the house. This is my new wife, her husband announced proudly. Amara's heart nearly stopped. What are you saying? He looked at her without shame. I don't love you anymore. You can leave. The whole village was shocked. The elders begged him to change his mind, but he refused. The next day, he threw Amara's clothes outside. Then he locked the gate. She cried as she begged to enter. This is the house I helped build. He laughed. You have no proof. Broken and homeless, Amara found shelter in the small hut of an old widow. She cried herself to sleep every night. The villagers felt sorry for her, but no one knew how to help. Meanwhile, her husband and his new wife enjoyed the beautiful house. They threw parties. They mocked Amara whenever they passed her in the market. Months later, an old lawyer arrived in the village. He had been cleaning his late father's office when he found an old file. He searched for Amara. I believe this belongs to you. Inside the dusty envelope was the original land agreement. Amara looked at it with confusion. The lawyer smiled. When you and your husband bought the land years ago, he was away in another town. You were the one who signed the papers. The land was registered, he paused, in your name. Amara's hands began to shake. The lawyer continued. Legally, the house belongs to you. News spread through the village like wildfire. The village chief called everyone together. The documents were carefully examined before all the elders. Everything was true. The husband had never owned the land. He had simply forgotten whose name was written on the papers. The chief stood up. The law is clear. He turned to the husband. You must leave this house immediately. The man froze. No, this can't be happening. But no one listened. For the first time, he felt the same pain he had caused. He packed his bags. The new wife looked around in panic. So, where are we going now? The husband had no answer. The woman who had encouraged him to throw Amara out quickly realized there was no more luxury waiting for her. The very next morning, she left him, without saying goodbye. He had betrayed the woman who truly loved him, only to be abandoned by the woman who only loved his house. As he walked away carrying his bags, the villagers whispered, "This is what happens when pride blinds the heart." Amara slowly walked through the front gate. She touched the walls she had helped build. This time, she smiled. Not because she had won a house, but because she had finally taken back the life that was stolen from her. She made one of the empty rooms a free sewing center where young widows and struggling women could learn skills and earn a living. Soon, laughter filled the house again. Not the laughter of people showing off, but the laughter of people rebuilding their lives. And everyone in the village learned one unforgettable lesson. Never betray the person who helped build your dreams. One day, you may discover that everything you proudly call yours was standing because of them all along. If this story touched your heart, subscribe for more powerful African stories filled with sacrifice, betrayal, shocking secrets, and unforgettable endings. There's another story waiting for you, and you won't want to miss it.